Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Dungeon Meshi Season 1, Episode 22. Last episode, we learned a lot. Specifically about Kabru. He went through it, to say the least.
He did. And he's really kind of sticking his neck out. We're gonna see what he's capable of, even though he might be up to something.
Yeah, I just loved seeing him in the disposition he put himself in. It was very intriguing. We've heard so much about the Western Elves, and to see Mr. Tansu even like quaking in his chair. I loved watching Kabru last episode. We also left off with the conversation with Senshi about what Laios said to the chief of the orcs. We went back and tried to unpack that. I am wondering if we're going to have any introspection from Laios' front, or if we're just going to take the next step into the next monster we are inevitably going to eat.
Are we going to accept that we're possibly a part of a prophecy?
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you have a preference for pens?
Pens to use?
Yeah, specifically
Yes.
in writing notes.
Yes. So my favorite brand is Micron. And I get the pack that has all the different sizes because I like to write different things in different sizes.
Are they technically like more art intended pens, like for outlining?
They're called archival ink. I use them for both art and writing.
I ordered like a 64 pack of these Japanese ink pens, and I love them to death.
Japanese stationery is where it's at.
It feels like I'm cutting the paper as I write it. I don't know. It's interesting.
It'd be bad if you actually were cutting the paper.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, look! Yad!
Oh! A smell.
Will the food have flavor this time?
Like a chill chuck. Maybe Senshi's cooking.
Ooh,
yeah.
Right?
Wow. Laios looks so tall.
He is a tall man. What if he could
Maybe you
taste?
can.
What if he could?
Please. Oh my god. Oh, get it back. Oh my god. Thistle.
As a
Jester. Cool. Makes sense.
see the book?
Oof, yeah, I do. Wow.
So he comes in here?
Could just wait for him here. It's like his arms and legs. That's something we didn't talk about at all in the discussion last episode.
It takes you back to the dungeon. You are their hope.
I want to see their expression. Holy shit. You don't think anything will happen to him, right?
He literally just brought up people being brought to death. Like, did we pick a specific location to drop them off in?
No. Never forget it.
What's it say?
確かになんかあるな。
周囲の柱の印を書き留めてきておく。
なんでそんなの知ってる？
こういう場所には必ずある暗号のようなもの。まあ方向感覚に優れたドア。わかったぞ。どうやらここは全体の南東に。
ファリンを見つけたかも。
Oh?
これがファリンの足跡だって？
シルエットがそうだったもんね。
俺はグリフィンか何かじゃないかと。下半身が獅子の魔物だよ。
この迷宮にグリフィンが出るなんて聞いたことない。
Griffins are so cool.
What is his reaction?
獣臭い。とにかく急いで探さなきゃ。
嫌じゃ。
Senshi.
いや、なぜ？
ファリンかもしれないのに。
いや、あれだ。初めて見るキノコだ。
俺はどこかで見覚えあるぞそれ。毒か何かだから絶対食うなよ。
グリフィンは嫌いじゃ。
なんで見たこともない魔物を嫌がるんだ。
もういい、行こう。
Stories? Maybe he has met one?
Holy shit!
人騒がせな。
The anger from believing it was Fallon.
Yeah. What is it, Senshi? That's why we got Izutsumi. Senshi's fucking dead.
一瞬のことで何もできなかった。どっちへ行った？高所に連れ去られては手も足も出ない。死体も発見できない。もう会えない。マルセル。
スカイマを召喚して探す。
Okay.
スカイマ。
というよりは作るって方が正しいかな。
Dude, I'm so excited.
既存の精霊や魔物を支配して操る。複雑だし、迷宮の主に気づかれる可能性が高い。動植物をいじって魔物にする。
The poisonous
時間
mushrooms.
や準備が膨大に必要。力作る。今回はこれにする。
Okay.
Okay.
難しそうだけど。
独立した生物を作るなら最低限動けば十分だからね。魔法陣の準備をしてるから全部鍋に入れて。
わかった。
I love the song.
これだけ？もう少しあると嬉しいんだけど。
なかった。チーズや卵ならあるけど。
野菜もな。
持ってきて。
Using like all the food we were gifted.
どんな魔物を作るんだ？自由に操れる？俺にも教えて。
正規の手順で危険術取り扱いの資格をまず取りなさい。
そういうのがあるのか。
どういう経緯で同行？あの食事への執着心は何なんだ？
We can't just reflect on meeting him like he's gonna die.
私生活を話したくないのはお互い様だしな。ただ気にならないと言えば嘘になる。戦士の言動には引っかかる点が多い。10年以上この迷宮で魔物食を研究してるっていう。でもこの迷宮が発見されたのは
Yeah.
前だ。高価な金属の鍋や包丁をいくつも所持してること、古代ドワーフの暗号を解読したこと、来たことのないはずの階層の魔物を恐れ、俺を必要に子供扱いする。
最後のはさすがに言いがかりでは。
いや、俺たちを知らない人間がよくやる勘違いなんだ。ハーフフットが人種だと気づいてない。この島に10年住んでて知らないのはおかしい。ひょっとしたら戦士は地上の人間じゃ。
無事戦士を助け出せたら一度改めて自己紹介の場でも設けよう。
All right, Marcial.
What's it gonna look like? No way it's gonna be like the little walking mushroom, right?
終わったのか。
そのはず。
Will it have wings? They're like little doves.
They look like peeps.
不安だったけど成功したみたい。何そのいいの動けば余計な装飾に限られたリソースは避けないから。それいけ。
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
あ自分の視界と
It's like a
重なって
ward.
気持ち悪い
Vision is
Whoa.
overlapping.
私の目を塞いで
Like you're gonna control it with your own eyes.
狂乱の魔術師はこんなの
Yeah.
飛ばしてどういう情報
It's like a mind palace.
How does he manage all that
そういうのは
information?
後でいいからお前はついていけないのかよ
飛びながら歩けると思う
Carry her or hold her hand?
何怖い怖い
Now it really is like she's flying.
なんだその体勢
Oh.
Nest.
Nest.
助けに来たよ戦士私がわかる
Oh.
グリフィンはとても目がいい魔物だ。こっちが気づく頃にはすでにあちらはこっちを見ている。
Bye, familiar.
生物というのは必要があってその姿をしている。余計な装飾じゃなくてね。
ライオスどんな形にすればグリフィンに対抗できるその角本当にいる
もっと俊敏に動けるようになるはず。狂乱の魔術師が刺激していた Y バーンを覚えているが、矢みたいな速度だった。
Yeah. Aerodynamic.
Are we making little dragons?
Oh.
この程度で
Cute!
飛ばしてみてくれ。
Oh my
Cute.
god!
動きが全然違うこれならいける戦士が地上に降りる
Oh, the overlap!
気を引く
It's like she's using a VR headset.
よしあったわ
Oh. We can dodge.
グリフィンを誘導するさあついてきなさい
Can we keep the familiar after this? I love it.
このまま
Cool. Oh.
ダメ
We have one more.
抽知できない
分かった俺に任せろ。もっと強く頑強に作り上げてやる。ここに角を増やし牙を
Oh.
鋭い
It's like making paper airplanes.
ここで覆い
I'm surprised he's having so much fun with arts and crafts time.
炎を吐く氷を吐くかっこいい。
いいえ
Oh.
必要なのは戦士を救うためだけに生物を生み出すという
Determination and ego.
With a single
ひ
goal.
たむきなマルシルの思いが祈りが一つの奇跡に
Brought about a miracle?
Miracle!
前に名前を与える
Like a little fairy?
翼
Like the elves have?
スカイフィッシュ召喚
Oh my god, this brings back so many memories.
これで
Whoa! Holy
Whoa!
shit!
It's like a torpedo.
あや動き気持ち悪い
This is gross.
Oh!
だからなんだ
一生懸命なんだよ彼女は。
She really is putting in her best effort to save Senshi.
身を翻せ
Even the Griffin was
Go right
surprised.
through him.
Wait!
Oh!
Shit!
Oh!
Go for it, go for it. I kind of feel bad, like he was just living his life, but woo!
He's trying to kill Senshi, Anna.
少し休んだ方がいいな。
Think the boots are made out of the frog skin?
選手
Your baby.
お疲れ様スカイフィッシュ
Oh!
what
the
これはすごいな。野菜が内臓みたいに詰まってる。
That is so messed up, Lyos. She created a miracle.
You okay, Senshi?
大丈夫か
小麦粉、卵、水をよく混ぜたもの。
It's gonna be like egg rolls.
揚げる。完成だ。
Skyfish and chips. Oh, now I really want fish and chips.
肉と野菜が混然一体となってうまい。
文字通りな
So maybe we should just use magic to also make things to cook with.
食に1週間分の食料使っている
Yeah.
はないでしょ羽以外のところも食べなさいやだ
She's like a little kid.
選手も一口。グリフィンが気になるか。
わしは今食欲が
What?
なあ戦士俺の名前はチルチャック
Oh, starting first by talking about yourself.
小さなあと妻と娘がいるが諸事情でもう何年も会ってない俺の過去についちゃざっとこんなもんだ
わしの名はイズガンダの戦士。小さな甲府団の一員だった。
Did they all die to the Griffin?
戦争前の遺跡を探し、一攫千金を夢見ていた。
Whoa.
あの日、我々は随分大きなものを掘り当てた。
Do you think that's where I got his helmet?
He's depicted as like the youngest. You know that helmet.
Wow.
そう、この迷宮だ。
We always heard that the dwarves like could have been in there beforehand, digging tunnels as they do.
Okay, that was Dungeon Meshi Season 1, Episode 22. This episode has unlocked a core aspect of my being.
Is it the treasure hunting aspect of your being? The
it was
archaeology
skyfish.
aspect?
I'm a normal person. I have hundreds of hours in trying to understand and look into cryptozoology, you know, like trying to understand like the unknowns about this world. And within cryptozoology when I was younger, like, God, skyfish, fuck, like flying rods, okay? Flying rods have been depicted forever. Some people will claim that there are depictions as old as depictions on paintings on walls of skyfish or flying rods, and that they are either a creature of their own species that have yet to be, you know, found out, like a Nessie or like a Bigfoot, or they have a spin on it being like a UFO, right? These flying rods, and it looks identical when you see a picture of it to what Marcial crafted, right? This long stick-like thing with multiple wings, and those are the two biggest, like, oh, this is what it could be, rather than what, you know, the most logical, like Occam's razor type feeling is, or thought is that it's just an insect flying extremely quick, and depending on the shutter speed of your camera you have, it will end up looking like what we saw in the episode. I can try to pull up a picture just to get like...
Yeah, I'd love to see.
I don't know if we can include it, but you see what I mean?
Oh, okay. It looks exactly like that.
Yeah. But so I haven't thought about them in so long. And then for it to like take the turn and make it cute like skyfish and chips, like you have me. This is all perfect.
Honestly, they had me with that too, because I have been craving fish and chips for like a solid week now. So
yeah.
Now I feel like this is like validation for me to be like, yeah, we should go get fish and chips.
There is the best fish and chips ever are in this town in Ireland from this takeaway shop called Matt's Takeaway. And they have extraordinary fish and chips. Amazing. Okay, episode. We have a name. Thistle. Holy shit, Lunatic Mage. He has a name.
We have two names in this episode that we kind of were given. One is the name for the Lunatic Magician, Mage. Obviously, giant reveal. Just not only for the name being revealed, but also just like more information about if he's still interacting with the people within this kind of like captivity, and also getting an elaboration on Senshi's name. To unlock kind of the full title of his name then comes with his lore.
So it seems like he's from a place called Isganda. Isganda. I have no idea what's going to happen because like
I feel like I have an idea.
You have to explain the fear of griffins. It feels as if it's not going to be a throwaway 3-minute conversation. I hope that we actually get to experience it going down or like listen about what happened.
Like we actually get the whole flashback scene.
Yeah.
In the next episode.
Because it feels like the weight of Senshi's character and the idea of like, oh, it's only been around 6 years. Senshi says he's been here 10. It's been such a massive unknown in the story so far that I really hope that we get to see the time that I think it deserves to show how Senshi got here and why he's here. A lot of the answers were seemingly given to us in a very like short way in the sense of mining, not necessarily for ore, even though it's what they found a lot of, but trying to find relics from before the war. And then it seems like they maybe were the first to stumble upon the Golden City. However, the Golden City did look way more intact to the Golden City that we've spent 22 episodes with, you know?
Yeah, honestly.
So I'm not really sure, like, how... Oh, God, look at him.
We definitely got to... I think what this scene is about is that we got to floors that Chilchuck is saying we should have never been able to get to because no exploring adventurer party has gotten down that far. Like, as everyone said, Griffins aren't in this dungeon.
Yeah.
Because they haven't seen... What we're getting here is that Senshi knows way more about the dungeon than we even believed had been discovered.
Mm-hmm.
And we have gotten lines to give us this idea that dwarves kind of can mine holes into various locations in the dungeons, and it's possible that they could have gotten to different locations than everyone else has gotten to. Could have discovered the dungeon before other people discovered it. I feel like I do know to some degree what happened.
Dreaming of hitting the jackpot. It's like you're, like that's such, like obviously they're separating themselves by saying that they weren't looking for war, they weren't that type of miner, but that makes me feel like you're a treasure hunter. Like you're like looking for shipwrecks for gold, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like, and the treasure is made of ore. It's just things that have already been crafted using the ore. Like if you think about Senshi's pots and knives, like they're being used by him every day, but they're basically relics in themselves because of the ore that was used to create them.
Adamantum?
Yeah, so it's like they admire craftsmanship, you could say. They admire creation of this thing that dwarves often work with.
I don't know if that was it. It gives me more of the impression, like, by, like, the language that they're using, that it's not even, like, an appreciation, right? Like, Senshi didn't make the pot because of the appreciation of the ore. Actually, it's like he made the pot because of the lack of appreciation of what it actually was, right? Mm-hmm. Like the idea of...
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's an appreciation of the ore. It's more like what you can do to what you do next.
Gotcha.
With this, like the material itself isn't significant to him. It's the craftsmanship and what you then do with the thing that you created.
So what do you think happens?
I think that they all died to the Griffin, honestly. And I feel like the reason he survived is probably because he seemingly looks like the young kid, mm-hmm. which could be another reason why we have Chilchuck as the one that kind of opens up to him to start the conversation in this episode, because he views Chilchuck as a child because he doesn't know of Chilchuck's race.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting, Chilchuck piecing all of this together. I think that he must be protected, pushed out of the way to some degree because of his age in comparison to the other dwarves that he's
Something
with.
Has to happen for this guy with the helmet to lose the helmet so that Senshi gets it.
And we take the helmet off in order to, like, the Griffin is dead, Chilchuck is reaching out to us to check in on us, we take the helmet off, which we hardly ever take it off. That's what I'm gonna think happened. And
also,
honestly,
we haven't left, like...
We never left the dungeon.
Not because we're trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for half a second, like, it didn't make any logical sense in my mind, but I was like, holy shit, is Senshi somehow, like, one of the original whatever that fucking train of thought was. But then I was like, okay, I'm not that stupid. But why doesn't Senshi leave? Like, where we saw him, like, if he wanted to, he could.
Yes.
But is it, like, a sense of responsibility, comfortability? I don't think, it doesn't seem like he's still actively looking for people like his old group. If like something like they went missing or they got lost, you know, it seems like he's moved on in a way and is living his own life and how he's dealing with the golems. And like he has his own, mm-hmm. you know, schedule that doesn't revolve around some greater goal that has to do with this, you know?
So, obviously, we can go in a few different directions with your question of kind of like, obviously, we believe he could have left if that had been his desire. So why would he not have left if seemingly the rest of his party of dwarves is no longer with him? You could go with the idea of, yes, physically you could go back, but emotionally, could you return to maybe your family and their families without them? Could you do that? Would you want to return to them and have to deliver the news of what happened to everyone. It could be that there was some sort of promise that was made, whether significant about treasure or about finding relics, which is, we're here to find this thing and do this thing, and he feels like he can't leave until he accomplishes that, but he also doesn't think he could do it on his own. So there's a couple of things that could be happening here of like why Senshi didn't leave, because if he had left right after what we have seen in the flashback, it's not like was trapped down here for 10 years and then it's like, oh, well, I've already been living out of society for 10 years. It'd be way too hard to return. It's not that for me at the moment. So I feel like it's something like an inability to leave them behind, an inability to return to his home without them, a promise that he made. I think that another topic you could bring up because of the dungeon we're in is their bodies. If you think that they're dead, I think the topic of bringing up their bodies is interesting because we have Senshi have this kind of issue with magic a little bit when we first meet him. And we are in a dungeon where, you know, there's immortality. And if there is a body, then there's a chance of bringing a person back to life.
Interesting.
And is it possible that he hasn't left because he hasn't been able to find the bodies? Is it too late? Could we possibly run into ghosts of these dwarves at some point? Could they help us out if we enter a floor of where they met their demise? I think there's some interesting talking points for that idea because of the specific dungeon we're in. And the ghosts just helped us from, like, last episode into bringing us back into this location in the dungeon.
Do you think that Yod is going to be killed by Thistle?
They really gave some foreshadowing to that with with the idea that he has already killed or hurt people that had worked against him.
My mind is drawing a blank because on where what I actually think is going to happen, because you're right with what you brought up, but also the language that Thistle used, I can't tell if it was intentional or genuine, of his not knowing about what's going on. Like, he had suspicion, but that wasn't being like, why were those 4 people or 5 people leaving at that specific time? Was he actually overviewing or watching that whole interaction? Or did he just have a feeling that something was off and only showed up right when they left? Like, and then were we given, one of the coolest parts of the episode is seeing, like, the warg like Marcial controlling the familiar, and it was like an overlay and overlap of the vision. And if that is how it happened, and Marcial is coming up with came up with a great miracle, and that was the perfected version, but we also get the contemplation of how the lunatic mage is able to do this with how many creatures are in the dungeon. Are there so many that it takes like a little bit of time, like lag time, for them to get to where they were?
It's basically like you'd be clicking through, like you have a security camera.
Like a switcher, yeah.
And you have to switch. That's what I'm imagining with that question of like, that's why Thistle wasn't able to be like, you were just talking to a tall man, a mage,
I feel like you need to
for.
Work up to a security camera, because like what Marcial has right now isn't that. It's like a merge together of that. There's no separation yet between the two like
literal,
streams.
Like VR headset, you're playing a specific video game. But honestly, and then I think that's a good topic too, just the idea that the lunatic mage, there must have been, obviously we know that there was growth in the study turning the focus toward black magic, and it definitely gives the idea with how long they've been here as well and been trapped here. Thistle has had a lot of time to practice and be able to create more familiars and have, as Marcel phrased it, to hold all that knowledge. But I do believe that it is possible that Thistle doesn't actually know what went on here. And if you think about it, I think we might have gotten the term paranoid to describe him already before. Imagine how paranoid he probably is in that moment, in that scene where he grabs Yod and is like, who were you talking to? He's incredibly paranoid. And I can imagine why, if like you know something's going on, but you're always 10 seconds too late to that like camera feed.
It's so interesting seeing him throughout his life too, and seeing his eyes become more tired and like deranged, as opposed to like the little kid.
The fact that he was raised with Delgal as if they were brothers is interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, we saw everything in the paintings, but this just makes it hit a bit different.
I feel like the reason why it's significant to phrase them in that way has to be with the idea of the Toten siblings.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to link, at least for me, because of the fact that, like, we always pair the two together, even though we are currently separated. And what we have is one of them in the position that you could put Delgal in as the person who is possibly going to be the hero. Like, Delgal was technically a hero for his people by getting out there and being able to relay a message before dying.
Yeah,
and
we also get the lines like the lunatic mage right now is seeing something amiss even right here. Like they just are like looking for what it is.
Yeah, and his cameras maybe aren't on the right location to be able to spot what it is. And then Fallon is under control of... Oh, so, okay, I'll go back to Laios with that. Laios hasn't decided whether he wants to be, let's use the phrasing, under control of Delgal's prophecy, of the prophecy.
Yeah.
He hasn't decided if this prophecy and fate and doing what he needs to do for these people is a mantle that he's going to pick up. And then on the other end, Fallon is technically already under control on Thistle's end of things.
Yeah.
So both siblings are kind of in this position under one of the brothers.
Man, I'm looking at the still we have of Thistle in front of the book, and I have my like, okay, this is probably the answer of why the book looks like that. 8 is a perfectly symmetrical number, so is the rest of the book. That's why. But also, this could go on forever, and there could be 7 other books that we haven't found yet, and 7 other dungeons that we need to, so we can get all 8 books.
Okay, that is cool to continue the show, but I could also bring up 8 as the infinity symbol.
Yeah.
Which tells
The infinity
me
that Marcial is
the
alluded
infinity
to.
that Marcial goes into in order to... this world dimension that has infinite
You
resources.
idiot. It's an infinity symbol. Don't read it like this. Read it like this.
Yeah,
you
obviously you're reading this book wrong.
Interesting.
Okay, do you think we're going to eat the Griffin? Obviously we're not going to right now because we're full with our skyfish and chips. Do you think we're going to pack up some Griffin to go? Or is that... If the Griffin did... I guess we need to see the flashback more with Senshi.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was about to be like, legitimately, it all depends on how traumatic that was for Senshi. Like, if the Griffin did eat the rest of his crew, would Senshi eat it out of respect for the creature? Or would it be, like, too close to home?
It
like,
takes you back to the Red Dragon.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
With eating Fallon. Like, we've already had this conversation.
No, but
but the difference is, this is a different person.
This is
in the
Senshi's
group's
trauma, yeah.
Loved ones and his trauma. Would he have the same response? So yeah, I do wonder if we're gonna pack up little lunch boxes of Griffin meat to go.
We'll see. All right, that's all I have you.
Chilchuk has a wife.
Oh my
and
god,
daughters.
Chilchuk has fucking a wife and daughters. What the fuck? How? I'm so sorry. How could I not? What?
I just love that. And the fact that Senshi was trying to give him the birds and the bees conversation.
What?
Oh.
I know what was said, but I need the actual words of why he hasn't seen them. Obviously it was, I haven't seen them in years for various reasons.
Stop. Like, I'm gonna wave in hopes we put it in, but like Marcial's expression here is like breaking the fourth wall down. Like, they knew how we were gonna react as an audience. Yeah, so yeah, I had to say that last because obviously incredibly important.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to see you next time.